Hello everyone, it's Amanda. How are you doing? Today is November the 24th, 2019, and I wanted to come on and do something for you this morning. But you might hear I've got a bit of a husky throat, so we'll see how far I can get with it. Had a great time in America, but surrounded by bugs. Of the virus variety, so I'm just feeling a little bit below par, but I did want to come on and do something. And then next week, assuming the voice holds up, I have got some videos planned that are going to be linking into, I want to do the top 10 sprays of this year, which was really interesting last year to look at that, because it reflects the energies from the previous year that we've just gone through. I know we've still got a month to go into December, but we're nearly through 2019. So you're going to be doing that. And then I also want to have a look at where we're at energetically. But I thought what I'd do, as I'm not feeling completely as I'm firing on all cylinders, is I'll go through some of the questions that you've sent in. Thank you so much. I put a little note up on my YouTube channel to say, what are the type of things that you would like me to be talking about? And my goodness, there are hundreds of questions there. I've actually just gone through all of them. So I've read every single one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I've condensed it down to 13 pages. So I doubt I'm going to get through 13 pages, but I am going to get through some of them. And I'm going to try and do it in a way where I'm giving a quicker answer than I normally would do. Those of you that watch me know that my videos, I like to try and do them so that we look in depth at maybe one or two subjects. So what we're going to try and do in this video is get through quite a few different subjects, but not go as deep, but try and at least answer some of the questions, okay? So I've called this coffee and a catch-up, but it's a bit sad actually. I got this lemon floating in my water, which looks very sad and dejected. But there is that phrase, isn't there, that when life serves up lemons, you need to make lemonade. Feels a bit like that at the moment. I will just say that one thing I did in the USA was that I took a group of teachers up to teacher level. And these are people that can now run level 1 and level 2 courses of mine in workshop format. And they are in the US and in Canada. I'll do a feature on them at some point soon, probably on Facebook, or I'll put their details on another video. But of course, when you teach any workshop, you also get an upgrade yourself. That's just the way that it works. And one thing that I always forget and always takes me by surprise, and it doesn't mean that it has to happen, but it does often happen, is that when you get an upgrade, I've found, I don't know whether it's just because Metatron is my guide and it's the way Metatron works, or whether this is a general principle, but it's as though the bigger the upgrade, what tends to happen straight afterwards is that you get a test coming in quite quickly. So I got a test quite quickly after landing back here in the UK, and I'm still working through that. So, and it's not related to business, it's a family thing. So, but I'm just saying that because I suspect it applies to a lot of us, that when we know we've upgraded, it's as though Spirit sort of says, okay, let's just try and help you to demonstrate the extra spiritual muscles that you've now got. Are you going to respond to whatever situation is put in front of you with the extra light and the extra wisdom that you now hold within you? Or are you going to sink back to a lower mentality? So that's a bit of what I'm going through at the moment. But it's all good. But it is something that always takes me a little bit by surprise. So, yeah, that's the first thing to say. Second thing to say is before I get to the questions, I've got a brand new deck and I'd just like to pull one card for us. I'm going to do a much longer energy read later on next week. But I often use Sandra Ann Taylor's deck, which I think is just called the Energy Oracle. Well, she's got a new deck out, which is called the Quantum Oracle. The Quantum Oracle, and I was very excited that she had brought this out, and I ordered it just before I went to the States, and I haven't really played with it much actually, so I'm just going to pull a card from this deck for us just to sort of warm us up, get us into the energy of whatever it is we're going to be talking about today. So this is just a card for us in terms of where we are at, maybe. Yeah, okay. We've got the card of peace. Okay, the card of peace. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the card of planning and action. Planning and action. And you can see we've got what I would call there the yellow brick road, okay? A sort of Wizard of Oz type energy. Metatron and the Wizard of Oz is a strong link there. I've talked about it many times. But it feels as though we need to make plans and take actions to bring in the vibration of peace, okay? So it will be interesting to see whether those two cards come out again when I do the wider energy read. They also are both a card number 2. Can you see that? Card number 2. So we've got 2, 2. Somebody did say to me, or a comment came in, I think, on my Facebook page, that of course we went through the 1111 portal. And then, of course, you've got 22. Now, the 22 energy is where we start to build on whatever it is that we have let go of and welcomed in with the 11 energy, okay? 22 is always, for me, a special date. I always attune people to Archangel Metatron's energy on the 22nd every month when we run our distance program. But this year it felt like it took on extra significance, the 22 energy. And it really is as though if 1111 got us through a particular portal, then 22 was where we started to walk the path. And the path has to be the path of peace, okay? So I'm just going to keep those energies out, which are not bad energies to have, are they? And let's just get straight into some questions, okay? So I'm going to just tackle these 13 pages. And I'm going to go with the one that's just up at the top, which was one that quite intrigued me as well. A couple of you mentioned Barron Trump. And somewhere, somebody mentioned that there's a book that's been written, which I think is called The Last President. And it has a character in it called Barron Trump, interestingly. Just trying to find the actual person that put that up. A few of you have mentioned it, actually. Now, the question that came in as well from Mary De Jong, I hope I pronounced your name right, Mary, is, "Hi, Amanda. Hope you have a fun holiday here in America." Yes, I did. "I have a request if you get a chance. I have been sort of touched and intrigued by Barron Trump ever since January 2017. He looks sad and is quite a beautiful young man. I have this feeling that he is important somehow for all of us, and his future happiness somewhat bound up in the collective, almost like a shared karma, like our fates entwined on a heart level of some kind. Important touchstone of some sort for his dad too, I sense. Anyway, I try to send him love and support." Another one of you has mentioned Barron and are talking about, it would be interesting if we were able to maybe look at his past life and future lives. I'm not up to that today, but one thing I can say today, which is coming left of field from nowhere, so I know this is divine information that's just dropped in, is that when I was thinking about that in terms of Barron and is he somehow, well, of course he's part of the collective energy and is bound up somehow in where we go. I was just thinking that, and then I heard very clearly from Metatron that this is just one timeline, but the book that he's in, The Last President, I'm not saying that he is the last president, but I wouldn't be surprised if Barron Trump in the future, even though it might sound extremely unlikely at the moment, does follow his father into politics in some shape or form. But I feel it will be a very different politics that he delivers. And it's as though the whole thing comes full circle. It feels as though he heals some of the wounding that has been caused by Donald Trump, which even if you love the guy, you have to acknowledge that he is not universally loved by everybody, and that some people have been very wounded by some of his words and some of his actions. That's the truth. And it feels as though Barron, who I believe is on the autistic scale, am I right in saying that? I think I am. It's as though, America's talked a long time about who's going to be the first female president. But actually, I'm almost wanting to say who's going to be the first president that comes in with I don't know what to call it really, a condition such as autism that brings something completely and utterly unique because of that condition that they have, and is able to, was just able to bring something that nobody else has before. There's a lot that's written about autism in terms of spirituality, which is that these children and these adults have special skills, have special abilities to be able to see things in a different way to the average Joe on the street, They are programmed, they are literally programmed a different way. I'm also hearing that they are not programmable. Isn't that interesting? Take that away from America, even though, of course, Barron is an American. Just look at politics on the world stage, and a lot of people just do the bidding of hidden men, mainly, and hidden agendas that is not seen by the general public. So many of our leaders are actually programmed to a degree to just follow through on the orders of these hidden men. And what's coming through very strongly is that Barron, as an example, who is on the autistic spectrum, because he has that, they are not as easily programmable because they literally are coming at life from a completely different perspective. The other thing I felt very strongly when I initially read this question about a week ago, and I think I replied to Mary, I've actually written here, thank you, I think you may be onto something. I pick up a very strong galactic energy with him, and I do. I think he's got a very strong galactic energy. And I feel as though by the time that he eventually may choose, and it is choose, because he may choose something completely different, but there is one timeline where he chooses to do something certainly on the political stage and rises to a position of power, potentially even president. There will be much more galactic support visible that will be helping him and us. It will be a completely different world is what I'm hearing. And I'm just seeing this full circle. And it's as though the Father and the Son somehow have made some sort of soul pact at some level to bring in lessons on duality. And it's as though the Son finishes off what the Father started. But it's not that he is necessarily following through on Trump's policies or anything like that. I think it will be he'll be his own man is what I'm hearing. But it's as though there will be lessons in terms of looking at both men in terms of the lifetime of Donald Trump and what he did and what he stood for, and then the lifetime of Barron Trump in terms of what he did and what he stood for, and the totality of those two energies make up the complete story. So, I'm quite surprised that that's come through, but it is what's come through, so I'm just going to tell you. I don't want to get too deep into doing a reading on him at this point because he is a child, and I do think there are ethics involved with that, okay? So I don't want to look at that, but I am being shown a future vision which is possible for him in terms of his autistic, I'm hearing the word grace, being able to bring back an energy of peace to not just the nation, but to the greater world. So he's one to watch, okay? And he's definitely, even though, he looks sometimes quite sad in his photographs, but, he's a teenager now, I believe. Teenagers do have moods that are up and down the whole time. But I do sense that there is this... he's very, very protected spiritually, but it doesn't feel, when I say it doesn't feel angelic, I don't mean that the angels aren't around him. I just feel it's much more galactic with him. He has a galactic mission, okay? And of course, his galactic mission doesn't just start when he's grown up and chooses or may choose that path. it also links into where he is now. And sorry, I'm just looking left there because I've got a little galactic star being head that is really just capturing my attention. And it's capturing my attention. I'm going to pick it up and show it to you, but you're not going to be able to see what I can see in it, because within the crystal there is a reflection of something. Oh, it's okay. This is going to sound really wacky. It's a reflection of a t-shirt that I've been sent. Let me just pick it up. You can't see the reflection of the t-shirt in this. This is my little star being, okay? And it's blue obsidian. And it was sitting on my desk, and behind my desk, I've got a t-shirt that somebody sent in for me, which has got Heart Squad on it. I'm not going to show it to you now because I haven't even replied to the lady yet who sent it to me. If you're watching this, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And indeed, I'll be in touch with you and maybe we can do something together to make them more available for people. But the point is that it's black and pink basically. And so the colours of that shirt are in the galactic star being head. So it's almost as though I feel there was a nod to the fact that he's going to help repair the heart of America, I'm hearing. He's going to help repair the heart of America. So I'm hearing actually he's fully in his heart space. And what that means is the fact that the heart is made up of all of the emotions of the rainbow. So we can be in our heart space, but we can also be sad. We can be in our heart space and be just consumed by grief. We can be in our heart space and just be elated by joy. The heart is our feeling center. It's where we feel. And of course, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I've not experienced autism up close. I don't have an autistic child. I don't know anybody, I don't think, that is particularly autistic or on the scale. But one thing I have heard people say is that sometimes some of the people that exhibit this can have a hard time maybe expressing their emotion or opening up to emotion. But I'm feeling the opposite with him. It's just that the way that he's feeling it, you can't see it. So we're used to being able to see it on somebody's face. You know, if I'm fully in my heart space, you can see it. You can see it in my eyes. I'm happy, I'm this, I'm that. It's like, it's not the same. It's like a different strain of humanity. It's a special strain. Very unique, very special. These people, these kids have been sent to help us to unlock something within our heart. Okay. So yeah, as Mary says, I try to send him love and support. That's what we should do. Okay, that's what we should do. That's what we should do for anybody anyway. But I think particularly for him, because he's been on the periphery of all of the dramas and everything that's been going on in the White House over the last few years and all of the energy around his father. But yet he has this very stoical energy and he does have a very peaceful energy, actually. He does have that energy of peace. But behind it, there is just... there is a destiny, okay? I don't quite understand where Melania fits into it. I know she's his mother, of course she is. But I'm feeling it's more linked into completing the story with his dad. There's a very strong link at a soul level with his dad. And that's interesting because I feel he's got a deeper soul connection with his father, but yet at a human level, in terms of everyday life, he has a stronger link to the mother, to Melania. Okay, maybe he needs that balance. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's see now. Penelope Dinkledong, love your name. She says, since we can't reply to others on here, I think you can actually, can't you? Anyway, no. I just wanted to agree with the poster who mentioned Barron Trump. It utterly fascinates me that there's a 100-plus-year-old book. Oh, right, it's a 100-plus-year-old book. Well, that's old, isn't it, for America? I'm not being rude, but it is. I've just come back from America. We went round to town and my friend showed me a house and it was like, I don't know, 200 years old. And she said to me, this is old for here. You know, I grew up in a 16th century cottage, so it's not old for me. But anyway, 100-year-old book called The Last President, featuring a character called Barron Trump and based in New York. So the book is based in New York. Right, maybe I need to read that. Anyway, we'll come back to that another day. A couple of you have mentioned Nikola Tesla. I have to come back to that another day as well because I don't know enough about Nikola Tesla. Although maybe I should just bring him through in a channeling. Maybe I don't need to know anything. The question is from Susan Elizabeth. I would like to know about the free energy that Nikola Tesla worked on. He was born in July 1857 in what is now Croatia and went over to America. He invented lots of things, but what I'm most interested in is the free energy he discovered, which of course was suppressed by the powers that were. Hey, yeah, okay. Well, that definitely needs to come through. I will do that. Okay, I'm going to mark with a red pen so I remember. Let's go to another question. A lot of you are mentioning the Heart Squad. Oh, I have to give a shout out to Freddie today. Freddie Mercury, it's the 28th year anniversary since he died. And I shared on my Facebook page, but I know some of you aren't on Facebook. I'll just tell you now that I had, he was with me all the way through in America. Even when I got on the plane to go to America, I flew British Airways. And there is, British Airways has the royal insignia on it, the crown. And as I boarded the plane, I saw the crown and straight away it was like, Freddie was saying that I'm the Queen, you know, it's like it's my insignia. And then we got on the plane and we were given, you know, those little bags they give you with like free socks and an eye mask and a bit of toothpaste, I think. The toothpaste is disgusting, by the way, but anyway. But I also got given some lip balm, and the lip balm was called Scaramouche and Fandango. It's from Bohemian Rhapsody, Scaramouche Fandango. So I was like, okay, he's here. And then flying back, well, it didn't happen when I flew back. It happened the day after I got back. I was going to bed at night. I checked my weather app to see what the temperature was going to be in Bournemouth tomorrow, or the next day. And as I did so, I saw a place called Pwani, Pwani. It's in Tanzania, Zambia. It's where Freddie grew up. I had never looked for Pwani in my life. I didn't even know Pwani was in Tanzania. And it was just like, oh gosh, you know, another sign that he's here. So shout out to Freddie. Lots of you saying you want him back, and yeah, I'll bring him back soon. Marianne Williamson, she needs a video in her own right. A few of you asking for Marianne Williamson. Let's just pull one card for Marianne, shall we, from this deck. I'm not going to go into any depth with her today. I've always felt that she's here to plant some seeds for the future, okay? She's not going to win, but she is there to plant some seeds and also wake up some dormant souls, okay? She's bringing through some energies and words and information that is probably too ahead of its time for some people, but that's okay. She knows that. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she knows that she's being asked to just plant the seeds. At some point in the future, somebody else will pick up those seeds. So Marianne Williamson, we've got the card for the vast universe, and on the bottom of the deck, we've got the card of success. She will be successful in the mission of planting the seeds, okay? And what seeds does she plant? She plants the seeds of consciousness and spirit. Can you see that? Okay, so we've got the card which says the vast universe and the card of consciousness and happy success. It's as though she's waking up America to the fact that there is a greater world out there, okay? There is a bigger world out there. Not just other parts of the globe, but actually other parts of the universe, the wider universe. America, because it's quite a young nation, still is actually finding its feet in terms of its who it is, what it stands for. And it will evolve, as all countries will be asked to evolve over the next couple of decades. But one thing that's really holding America back is not seeing itself as part of the greater whole. My husband said something to me quite interesting before I went off to America, and I think this is true, so don't hold me to it if he's got it wrong. But he said, we were talking about, was it basketball? It was either basketball or baseball, one of the big national games. And John said to me, he said, you know, they have a World Series out there. And I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, but they don't invite the world. Is that true? Is there something called the World Series for either basketball or baseball, but it's just an American competition? I believe I'm right. If I am right or John is right in what that said, it's like, can you feel into that for a moment? It's called the World Series, but yet where's Japan? Where's Germany? Where's the UK? Where's India? They're not there. So how can it be a World Series? It's not a World Series. It's an American thing. So it's like what she's doing is she's opening up America to, hey, we're part of something much bigger. And actually, it can be really quite fun if we do that, It's such a big old country, and I get that. I've only just skimmed the surface of it. I've been 3 times now, and I'm very much into just one part of the States, and I will travel more in the future, and I very much look forward to doing that. But it's as though America, on this card here, that's interesting. That guy's holding a heart. Can you see he's holding a heart? It's as though, oh right, he's holding 2, no, he's holding a heart and he's holding the light. Remember, these cards were about Marianne Williamson. So it feels as though she is helping America to find its heart again, to find its heart, to come back to its heart, but equally to find its light, and is inviting them to that party, basically. At the moment, there aren't many people in that field with her, okay? There aren't many people in that field with her, but that can change. This is card number 8 as well, unity consciousness, Can you see that? Number 8, the infinity sign, we are all one. We are all part of the universe. You are not just American, you are part of the human race. You are part of the galactic race. You are part of the angelic race. Some people don't want to know that. It's like, don't be stupid. But that is the truth, and that's where we are, and that's what she's trying to sow. Even if she doesn't say it, that is what she's sowing. Beautiful. So, good for her. The next card, I must just say, coming up for Marianne is courage. And okay, we're turning into a different, longer reading now, but it feels like it's here. The cards are all here. These are on the bottom of the pack. She needs courage, okay? Look at that. She is like a warrior of light going into this, I wanted to say jungle. That's what it feels like, going into the jungle. There's not an awful lot of light in that jungle or forest, but can you see the light that is around her? Can you see the armour that she's got on? This is very important, actually, for all of us as well, to wear our armour of God. Have I got my little card here? I am just going to show you this because we made these, and I've got these in my shop. They're not expensive. Look at that. Okay, we've had these made. This is the armour of God, to remind yourselves to put on your armour. She puts on her armour every day. What is the armour of God? I've done a whole video on this. It says it's the helmet of salvation, or awakening as I call it, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, the shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, and feet that walk in peace. And this, we had this drawn for us. That's our spiritual warrior. She's a bit sassy. I like that. I like the fact that she's a bit sassy. Okay. So that's Marianne. She's wearing her armour. By the way, what I do with mine is I put it in my purse. So this just goes in my purse because my purse goes anywhere with me if I go outside the house. Or you can put it on your desk, or you put it beside your bed. It's meant to just remind you to put the armour on. But equally, when you carry it in your purse, you're carrying the energy with you, okay? Very much like I've also got a St. Christopher coin in my purse, which my mum gave me for safe travels, okay? Anyway, back to Marianne. There she is, full of courage. She's got a Joan of Arc energy about her, okay? I'm feeling Joan of Arc energy around Marianne Williamson very strongly. But what she's faced with is a lack of consciousness. And I'm sorry to insult, you, because I'm not insulting you. The people that are watching this, you're not that. You don't have a lack of consciousness. You wouldn't be on this channel watching me if you did. But unfortunately, I'm actually wanting to say the heartlands of America. I don't even know where the heartlands of America is. Is it in the centre? I don't know. There is a lack of consciousness. I mean, look at that card. There is, oh my gosh, it's about money. Look at that. The heart is filled with money. Well, money doesn't buy you happiness. Money doesn't buy you happiness. A lack of consciousness. She knows that she's going into this forest and there is a lack of consciousness, and that many people won't even open up to hear her, will deride her, will laugh at her. But she's still going in. And she's going in because she's on a mission and she's doing God's work. And why is she doing it? She's honouring the path. She's honouring the path. It's her path. It's what she's been called to do. And her intention is everything. It's the card of intention, honouring path. You see, she's getting applause there. I'm feeling as though that applause is more from spirit, though. I'm feeling as though spirit are applauding her because they know that what she's being asked to do is not easy. And it's as though she's not doing it for the fame. She's not doing it for the plaudits. She's not doing it for the applause. But it is important that if you are feeling that alone, and I do feel on certain days she feels very alone in the task, that you receive something back, and she receives it back from spirit, okay? There's also, she's got some very strong energies around her. She's got the energy of Christ around her. She's got the energy of Joan of Arc around her. And she's also got the energy of, it's sort of, well, it's probably both. I mean, if you look at that, to me, that looks like, it's like a Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene energy. It's also got a Kuan Yin energy to it. You know, just bring in all of the female guides. They're sort of all working through her. So although she feels alone, she really isn't. You know, look at that card. They are alone, but actually look at the light that they're holding. So she's got a lot of courage to be doing what she's doing. And she will succeed in her mission, which is to plant the seeds. Her mission is just literally to walk into that forest of darkness and plant the seeds. And in that, she's successful. Okay, let's move on. Might come back to her another time. Let's do a red star beside her as well. I thought it was quite interesting. Okay. And just wondering whether to theme this video, because we're already at 32 minutes. And no, Metron's saying just don't do that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go to this one. Carol Clark. Hi, Amanda. Warmer here in Florida, the West Coast, Tampa Bay. Someday you'll have to teleport to Clearwater, Florida, especially Clearwater Beach. Is Clearwater the place where Scientology has its base? I'm sure it's also very beautiful. I think I'm right in saying it is. And it's on my radar, actually, Carol, as a place that needs to be cleaned up. Okay, I'm going to say it because I've been given it. I've met the cancer of Scientology is what I'm hearing. Sorry, that's what I'm hearing. Needs to be eradicated. I'm very tolerant. I think if you've watched me over years, I'm very tolerant to any belief that you choose that you want to have. I don't care what you believe, to be perfectly honest. The only time that I draw a line is where abuse occurs, darkness occurs masquerading as light, and manipulation and darkness is wrapped up as something different. Choosing my words very carefully. I'm not going to go into this on this one, but you know, can you feel my energy's just gone down? It needs cleaning up, guys, and let's pull a card on it. But Clearwater. Thing is, it's not Clearwater. However beautiful it looks, there's a There's something under the surface there that needs to be released to the light, exposed to the light, and moved away from. One of you on my Facebook page, I won't name you, but you actually sent me a message this summer because you were holidaying in Clearwater, and you were very freaked out as a visitor coming in to the energy that you found there. I'm sure it's a beautiful place, guys. I'm sure if you live there, you know, there's many lovely things about it. I'm literally just talking about the Scientology hub that is there, that has grown into something else. Yeah, wow. You see, look at these two cards. Something is veiled, something is happening behind a mask that needs to be discovered. The card of back and forth. This is somebody on a beach beside water. There's something that's hidden there. You know, this is a guy that basically went panning for gold. But all that glitters is not gold. Something is being hidden behind a mask. And look at this card, the card of back and forth. He's like on a seesaw. Something needs balancing out beside the sea. Something needs balancing out beside Clearwater. Gold as well. Where's that card? Lack of consciousness. It's about money. It's about gold. To be perfectly honest, any religious organisation that is dripping in gold, oh boy, is also dripping in blood, is what Metatron is saying. Oh, he's going in heavy. Let's sage it. I don't want to go any deep. Oh, wow. These three cards, this is a new deck. I've not used them, but they're each of these three cards, can you see they've got the word intention written on top of them? Intention, intention, intention. 3 intentions. So what is happening here is Metatron is saying our intention can transform this energy. That which is hidden, that which is out of balance beside water, that which is not gold, it looks gold on the surface, we can change it. Again, same message coming through, that we have to believe it's possible for some of these places in our world and some of the belief systems in our world and some of the leaders in our world that are not what they seem to be. We have to believe that we can create a new reality. That what is hidden can be revealed, can be balanced, and can be brought back to the light. Let's just put some sage. So this is a sage smudging spray. Don't want to get too deep into this today, because I don't really feel like I want to. That's for another time. I'm going to try and keep this quick and snappy, which is what I was intending it to be. Well, I've only done 4 questions and it's already 40 minutes. Right, come on, let's just do a few more. Let's just see where we go. Let's just pick one random. Catherine Meehan, thank you. You could recite the alphabet and tens of thousands of people would still be enraptured. Oh, bless you. Happy integrating and enjoy your holiday. It's interesting though you talk about the alphabet, because Metatron often gives me that song from Julie Andrews sang it, ABC, you know, Do Re Mi, that song. It all starts with ABC. Let's start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. That one. When you begin with ABC. It's very true of anything. You know, if you look at what we've just been looking at there, you know, the whole Scientology stuff that needs to come up for cleansing and needs to be healed, all of that energy. Where do we start? We start at the beginning. We start with intention. We start with belief. We start with believing in miracles. We start with believing that the light can win through and will win through, okay? So it's interesting we talked about the alphabet. Cosmic Earthling. I have loved your videos for years now. Thank you. Ever since I started connecting with Metatron's energy and was led to you. I love your lengthy videos. I must admit, I can't do short ones. I don't think you're ever going to get me on Twitter, guys. It's just not me. I love your lengthy videos and find myself giggling along with you in a sense of camaraderie and friendship as sisters in light. I think it should be super cool if you also find the time to do weekly-ish channeled videos in the 15-minute length range, though. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you. I take that on board. I'm not very good at the shorter videos. Maybe it's just not my role, you know? There's lots of people doing all sorts of things out there. What else? I love your work. This is from Julianne Coy. 111 comments when you wrote this, Julianne. I love your work. It's been very inspirational for me. In particular, I love the Heart Squad channeling. Please don't stop doing these. I feel you don't really need any new people, but it'd be great to bring through 2 or more members on theme, such as Michael Jackson and John Lennon, on how to change the world, and Freddie Mercury and Prince on how to have more pleasure. I completely agree with you, Julianne, actually. I'm not feeling a big pull to want to do loads more of them either. I always said when I started Heart Squad that there was a core team, and I feel we've got the core team. And there are other names that come through from time to time, and I think I'm wanting to say experiment with them, but I don't see them as part of the core team. I feel we've got the people we're meant to have. I very strongly want to do another Princess Diana video soon. All the stuff going on with Prince Andrew, oh my God. You know, quite ashamed really, you know, to be British sometimes with what goes on. But, you know, 10 years ago, it's funny how YouTube, you know, algorithms on YouTube. I haven't watched Spitting Image, which was a comedy program on ITV that ran about 15, 20 years ago. It was puppets. They were puppets, but they were very well done, and it was satire. And there was a puppet of Prince Andrew, and they called him Randy Andy because that's what he was. And it came up on my YouTube feed the other day, and it's like you watch it and it's like, oh my God, I think they knew. Having said that, I will say now, I don't want to get too much into Andrew either. I'm not feeling paedophilia linked to Prince Andrew. I'm feeling that he was somebody, though, who probably knew what was going on. So in that sense, he was an enabler, which is horrendous. But I suspect that it was more likely young women that he was more interested in. Okay, I think that's his main. I wanted to say vice, actually, because it was done to excess. Whether some of those young women were actually on the verge of being girls rather than women, I don't know. And if that is the case, then of course that puts him into the camp of paedophilia. But he certainly was somebody that knew. In terms of the royal family, I will just say now that my intuition is telling me that there needs to be a complete and utter clean-up and swipe through so that it goes down to Prince William and Catherine to basically be the face of the royal family going forward. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if Charles's name isn't dragged into this at some point. He was friends with Jimmy Savile, guys, and Jimmy Savile is just not a name you even want to Google. Lowest of the low. And so I wouldn't be at all surprised if, as I say, William and Catherine will be the future of the monarchy, and it will be a much slimlined monarchy, probably also brought in by William as well. But certainly that whole level of Prince Charles, Prince Andrew, the Queen's children, I think it will pass down a generation, okay? Right. I might do a video on that as well, though. Right, let's see, where else? Where are we going to go? Let's just have a couple more. Susanna Laker. Enjoy your visit, Amanda. However, you will still need those woolies when you touch down. Yeah, it's cold here. I enjoy all of your videos and especially enjoy hearing from the Masters, Michael Jackson and Diana, though it would be awesome to hear from Stephen Hawking and find out how he is doing and how his life's work aligns with his environment now, as it would have been. Anyway, yeah, I think Stephen Hawking would be fascinating to channel. He was, I believe, an atheist, so that would also be interesting because I sort of believe that when you die, you gravitate to what you believe you were heading for, you know? So it's interesting. If somebody's a total atheist and doesn't believe in anything, I wonder whether you, I don't know, like, do you just go into the void? I don't know. I'm going to bring Stephen through. I think it'd be very, very interesting. Okay, so he's one to do, definitely in the future. Let's just have two more. Just got my Metatron deck. Maybe a few words on using the deck wisely and intuitively. Speaking of intuition, how about when to recognise true intuition from mind chatter? Okay, yeah, definitely going to do a video on my Metatron deck and how to use it. Quite a few of you talking about, please bring back George Harrison. Yeah, and well, they all want, most people want all of them brought back, but George Harrison is a name that keeps coming through. Oh yeah, George Michael, there's a Last Christmas film coming out. I guess it's worldwide release. Would love to hear what George Michael thinks of the Last Christmas film. His songs are played throughout it. I truly felt it in my heart while I watched it. Magic, love, tears, joy. Is it out? Okay, maybe it's out. I'm definitely going to go and see that. Definitely. Tom, Soft Talk, ASMR. Hello, Amanda. Felt you might like to hear this. Last night, I'd experienced a very clear dream. Are there any tramways near you in USA? As in this dream, Metatron called upon the tribe to help with rescuing people from fires. There were tram tracks in the roads, and the rainbow ray was singing brightly overhead. You were helping to lead the tribe. I also feel this is probably a sign that you're being missed. Thank you, Tom. I want to say something about the fires. Yeah. It's not just USA, of course, is it? Australia have got the most horrendous fires going on, as have Africa. Some very upsetting film from Australia. Have you seen that, of the koalas that are trapped in the fires? One amazing woman is just driving past a forest on fire, I guess fleeing, and they see this koala and it's being burnt and it's running back into the fire, bless it, 'cause it's confused. And she stops the car, she takes off her top and she goes into the flames basically and rescues this koala and puts it into her top. I think they take it to a vet and I'm not sure what's happening to it, but you know, acts like that show humanity at its very best, because that's what it all boils down to. At moments such as that, are you going to pass on by? Are you going to pass on by the guy who's sitting, you know, on the street, homeless, hungry? Are you going to pass on by the animal that is frightened, that is in the fire? Are you basically going to step into unity consciousness and see that everything is one? We are all part of the one. Or are you just going to think of self? So, you know, unfortunately, these events linked into what's going on with the climate are going to be continuing, and we're going to see more heroism such as that. And I think it's really important to try and maintain a high vibration as much as we can, so that we can help. If we get too bogged down into the stories of trauma, which are undoubtedly out there, we lower our own energy and then we're no help to anybody. So again, my belief is always been about balancing the elements within our own body, you know, looking at our own energy of fire within ourself, looking at the energy of water within ourself. You know, water is linked to the emotions, you know, fire is linked into, you know, positively our motivation, our drive, our ambition, negatively our anger, our frustration. So it's about quelling and balancing, not quelling, it's about balancing the elementals within our own body. I have got so much work to do in terms of courses that I've written, that I've performed as workshops, but are not yet available as online courses. And, coming back from the break, I was thinking, right, got to get the colour course out, got to get the Mary Magdalene course out. But, sitting here, I think maybe the course that is most important to get out is the elemental one, because there is just so much going on with the elements, and it's going to be continuing. Somebody else asked a question about the flooding in Venice. There's been terrible flooding in Venice and the symbolism of that. And you really want my reply on that? My reply on that is I think there are going to be parts of the world that become uninhabitable. And it may well be that we lose some very beautiful places. But remember, we've had channeling that's come through before, that as we lose some places, we will new lands will arise in different parts of the world, particularly linking into near Hawaii, land masses that are going to be arising. In fact, it was in the Elvis channeling that I did, the last Elvis channeling, that came through, land masses arising. I don't know whether the future of Venice is sustainable, and that's very, very sad. But it is, the nature of the world is nothing stays the same. Look at the animal kingdom that always has been and that always will be. Animals that come and go. And by that, I'm talking about natural extinction. I'm not talking about man-made, which is something that can be changed. I'm talking about, the dinosaurs weren't killed off by man. They were killed off by a meteor or something that happened, to the earth. But then other animals came in to replace it. And it's the same with places in our world. We love beautiful parts of the world, such as Venice. I've been to Venice. It's a magical place. But it doesn't mean necessarily that particular city, that particular energy that's there is what is needed for the next 500 years on this planet. It might be that there's another landmass, there's another beautiful city that either needs to arise or be born in a different place that's going to suit the needs of that next generation. So that's what I'm getting on that. Some of these places, it's a very fine line, because on one hand, I'm sort of saying go there whilst you still can. But on another hand, it's sort of like I'm very conscious now of travelling in terms of the environmental impact. So I don't know, there are places in this world that I know I might not visit in this lifetime, but I am able to visit them in dream state. I am able to visit them in astral. And also it's very important that you remember that a lot of these places that you want to tick off your bucket list, you've already been to in past lives, okay? I've already been to, for some reason I wanted to say Israel in a past life, okay, all right. At the moment, I have no plans to go to Israel. No reason other than just it's not top of my list at the moment. But I'm being told I've already been there before. You've been there in many past lives, I'm being told by Christ, okay? So it's sort of like, okay, so do you always have to go back in each lifetime? Each lifetime isn't a case of having to tick everything off. That would be an exhausting way to do it. If you start to see the eternalness of the soul, and that the soul has many opportunities to come to visit where it needs to visit, but equally some of those places aren't always going to be the same. I mean, actually, the more I think about it, how boring would it be if you came back in 500 years and you've still got the same places to visit that are here now? If I come back in 500 years, I want to see some new towns. I want to see some new cities. I want to see some new landscapes that have been birthed out of the elements themselves that have been built by man. I'm also hearing that have been built by the galactics. Okay, so I'm feeling as though there are going to be new sphinxes, new pyramids, in different form, because the pyramids and the sphinx, they were all helped by the galactic energies of the time then. Although time is not linear, time is circular, okay? So although the Sphinx and the pyramids are pretty sacrosanct, and I suspect they will still be here in 500 years, but there will be other things that have been built by man and galactic and angelic help, okay? I like doing these videos. I hope you're enjoying this. What are we? We're nearly at an hour, so I'm just going to do one more question. And let's see what we get. I'm going to end with this one, actually. Calm Reese, and she says, Amanda, my daughter and I meditate and would like to know the best way to ground ourselves afterwards. I find that she tries to come out of meditation too fast and she can't function afterwards because she's too lightheaded. Now, before I answer the thing about meditation, I want to say something about groundedness generally. It's come to my attention recently that a lot of the crystal children, but not just the crystal children, I think probably a lot of us, but particularly the crystal children, are not as grounded as they need to be. And this is because if you imagine you land from, a different place, a different dimension, and you land on Earth, it was always going to be a bit of a bumpy ride because Earth has quite a low vibrational energy compared to a lot of other planets that are out there. It's still beautiful, but it's a denser, lower energy than a lot of other planets. Kids are having a hard time. And what's happening is a lot of them are trying to almost like escape from their body. When I say that, it's more a case of the soul trying to lift out a little bit from the body. The soul wants to be present, but it's like this dance between the soul and the physical body. So it's really important that the kids are grounded. This means in food that is being eaten, lots of root vegetables, for example. It's also in colours. The browns, the coppers are very important. It's in crystals that you can use, things such as hematite, carnelian. What other crystals would be good? Metatron. Because I think that the danger sometimes when you look at crystal kids is that, they need all the rainbow light. Well, yes, they do, because that makes them feel at home. But the problem is it makes them almost yearn for home. And home might be a different dimension, but yet they're meant to be here on Earth. So they need to be grounding in with the energies of Earth as well. So again, it's a fine balance between bringing them the rainbow light that they need to sustain them, to remind them of home, but equally making them happy with the home they have now in this incarnation on Earth. I'm also hearing emerald as a crystal, okay? In terms of the sprays we sell, we have an emerald spray, okay? The emerald spray, the earth elemental, really important for the kids to ground them and to help them to just feel comfortable and at home here on Mother Earth, okay? But equally for us, going back to your question in terms of meditation, best ways to ground ourselves, I don't think we give ourselves enough time. That's the main thing when we come out of meditation. And I think it's symptomatic of the fact that we're all so busy the whole time. We've all got 110 things to do. And so we fit meditation into this little corner of the day, and then we go straight into the next thing that has to be done. There has to be what Metatron's calling an acclimatization period, whereby you come out of your meditation and you have like a period of pause. And he's saying breath is a very good way to do this. So to breathe deeply into the body. And as you're doing that, you're breathing in, but you're becoming aware of the physical body. You're becoming aware of the air that is going into the lungs, which is then going into your arms, which is going into your legs, which is coming up to your brain, which is coming into your head. Also touch, Metatron is saying, is quite important for grounding as well. So literally physically touching the body. As a workshop leader, sometimes I would touch people's feet at the end, just to ground them in, or touch their shoulders. But again, you can do it yourself. It's like touching the body is a good way to bring yourself back into your body. It's using the physical sense. Rubbing the hands together as well. It's like stimulating some of that chi energy. Using the sprays, I've mentioned that, emerald and earth, crystals, hematite, bogie stones might be good as well, jet. You've all got your favourites in terms of grounding stones. There are so many out there. Just get a book on crystals and take your pick, basically. But again, I'm wanting to say it's intention as well. It's almost like with the intention to ground is as important as whatever you do to ground. Whether you can go outside now, and well, I wouldn't want to do it because it's raining, but a great way to ground is just to go and stand on the earth, okay? Take your shoes off, take your socks off, stand on the earth and ground. But again, you can do that with no intention whatsoever. It'll still have an effect, but it'll be so much more powerful if you stand upon the earth with the intention that I'm standing upon the earth and I am grounding. I'm putting my roots down. It'll be 100% deeper than if you have no intention. And it's the same with anything, whether you're spraying a spray, using a crystal, affirmation, whatever. Intention is everything. Okay. Jane Barmash, could you do a meditation on Leonard Cohen? Wow. Didn't he have a deep voice? I think he did, didn't he? Maybe. I love all your ideas. They're all so So interesting. I really am grateful for all of them, and I'm going to come back because there's so many in here I haven't even touched on. Do you believe that the black hole we are learning about has anything to do with astrology or your work as a guide? Suzanne Miller. I have no idea, Suzanne. I'll have to go into that in a channeled state to be able to answer that. Having said that, excuse me, my stomach's rumbling. I've just read something on the paper that the fifth element has been found. Have you heard about that? Let me just see if I can pull it up. It feels like it's really important. But, you know, hopefully we don't have to be a physicist to understand it. I don't know where it is. I can't find it now. I'm going to finish with Elizabeth Payne, actually. Amanda, absolutely love anything and everything you talk about. Thank you, Elizabeth. You have such a lovely, calming presence and voice. I really feel you have a lot in common with Dolores Cannon and see your link with her as very apt. Really interested to see what further insights she has to say from the other side, with the understanding she had awoken so much in the timeline we are presently on. I feel she wants to teach you and us something. Have a great time. Yeah, I believe that as well. I think Dolores wants to come through with some new teaching and use me as one of the vehicles to do that. So I will do that. But now I am absolutely starving. My stomach is rumbling. I'm going to end this with a final card for us all. And then I'll be back next week and we'll do some more. Okay, final card, Metatron. Great deck. Well done, Sandra. If you're watching this, brilliant. Your higher self. Okay, we've got the card of your higher self. And we've got the heart, the energy of the heart. Your higher self is always guiding you. We just have to listen to it. We have to acknowledge it. We have to not push it away. Your higher self is the greatest gift that you have, to be able to go there and be present with it. And that links us back to meditation again and being still and being quiet. So it's Sunday here. It is, oh, I've taken my clock down. I don't know what time it is. What time is it? It's 1 o'clock. So it is lunchtime. So I'm going to do a bit of meditation this afternoon and we'll see what comes through. I'll be back very soon, guys. Love you all very much. Missed you when I was away and I'll see you again soon. Much love. Bye.